I think it's over.
Breaking news, the ceasefire in Iran seemingly over, how it will affect the world supply chain, and what you end up paying for necessities.
Plus, President Trump is making new threats at the NATO conference in Turkey. We're telling you why President Trump insists on America controlling another country.
He also is walking with a gait or a limp in this video. Again, he seems to be having issues walking.
The suspected assassin of Charlie Kirk back in court. What new evidence could determine whether the 23-year-old even sees a courtroom?
Live, the news you count on. Gulf Coast News today.
To me, I think it's over. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them.
We're on top of breaking news this morning. The ceasefire with Iran is seemingly over. It follows just over a day of back and forth attacks. Now the president says we will strike the country, quote, very hard tonight. So how did we get here? Yesterday, the Iranian military decided to attack 3 commercial ships, including an oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. The United States responded by revoking the 2-month waiver, allowing Iran to sell their oil in the strait. Then, hours after the United States launched a massive wave of strikes against Iran, Iran struck back, targeting U.S. bases in the region, which leads us to right now, where the ceasefire is seemingly over.
Following the most recent attacks, oil prices jumped more than 3%. Brent crude oil increased to more than $76 a barrel this morning, while the U.S. benchmark crude inched toward $73 a barrel. Prices for both of these recently declined to where they were before the Iran war began in February, which was several dollars lower. Oil prices ultimately impact what you pay for gas. AAA is reporting the average price for a regular gallon of gas increased slightly to $3.80. It's a big difference compared to May, when gas prices peaked at $4.56 per gallon, but still 80 cents higher than before the war.
Now back to the recent strikes. It's something the head of NATO supports. Take a listen.
Well, I think it was absolutely necessary because when you have a ceasefire and Iran is basically violating the ceasefire, we've seen what happened yesterday with ships being attacked, I think it is totally crucial that the U.S. forcefully reacts.
Now, NATO leaders are gathered in Turkey discussing not just Iran, but also Ukraine and, once again, Greenland. President Trump once again saying America should control the Danish island territory, but Denmark's prime minister vowed to defend his homeland. In Turkey, NATO leaders are also talking about the rising tensions in the Russia-Ukraine war. Just a few minutes ago, President Trump agreed to license its Patriot air defense systems to be made overseas for Ukraine. It comes after back-and-forth strikes in recent weeks, which led to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pressing the U.S. for more of those defense systems. The announcement was made while the two leaders met as 2 wars and renewed threats loom. Today is the last day of the summit.
Meanwhile, Cuba is still dealing with a nationwide blackout, and still no one knows why. The country's grid operator said they are investigating. The country has been struggling with an energy crisis worsened by declining fuel imports, partially caused by American sanctions imposed earlier this year. On Monday, the Cuban president criticized the import restrictions, accusing Washington of trying to spark a social explosion through asphyxiation.
A new report shows the pilot who crashed and died last month in Maryland tried to land at an airport moments before the accident. That's according to a new report from the National Transportation Safety Board. It found the small airplane made 3 touch-and-go landings at an airport in Ocean City, New Jersey, and then returned to Montgomery County. The report says the 26-year-old pilot wanted to land at an airport in Bowie, but told air traffic controllers that he couldn't see the airport. Maryland State Police say the plane crashed about 5 miles from the airport, killing all 3 on board.
2 county commissioners and the former mayor in the Sunshine State are facing charges related to a fake voter guide.
Yeah, those guides were sent to mailboxes in 2024. Now, as Jessica Clark shows us, it could have been fraud.
If you were trying to write an election fraud movie, I think you wouldn't even write it this crazy.
According to court documents released Tuesday, the main character in this fake voter guide case is Brianna Jordan, a campaign consultant who had clients, including candidates in the 2024 St. Johns County races. According to the court documents, she created a fake voter guide that looked very similar to the official St. Johns County Republican voter guide, but the so-called endorsed candidates on the fake guide included her clients. Then, August 1st, the documents say Jordan held a secret envelope stuffing operation at this house she rented in St. Augustine on Grant Street. According to witnesses in the report, there was a group of people there at the house to stuff the fake voter guides into envelopes. And the people there putting labels and stamps on the envelopes, according to witnesses, include St. Johns County Commissioner Sarah Arnold, Christian Whitehurst, a county commissioner as well, and St. Augustine Beach Mayor at the time, Dylan Rumwell.
This is the worst possible behavior of an elected official.
Denver Cook is the chair of the St. Johns County Republican Party. His organization put out the official voter guide with the group's officially endorsed candidates for the 2024 election. He did not know about the fake guide until it showed up in voters' mailboxes just before early voting started in the 2024 primary election. Now back to that secretive envelope stuffing party. It lasted at least 5 hours at this house, according to one witness in the documents. The documents say campaign consultant Jordan then had the fake guides mailed out of Jacksonville and Orlando to Republican supervoters in St. Johns County. When people started to receive them, Cook reported the fake guide to the sheriff's office. An investigation started, and the court documents say Jordan destroyed evidence of the incident by burning the fraudulent voter guides in the backyard of Campaign House on Grant Street.
In total, 5 people are facing criminal charges in connection with the 2024 fake voter guide.
This morning, a former Florida gubernatorial candidate is facing drug charges. Andrew Gillum was charged with having meth and weed in Alabama. Daphne police say Gillum was driving erratically last Thursday night, and they say that's when officers pulled him over and spotted a glass pipe in his car. During a search of the vehicle, police also found marijuana, 3 packages of substances that tested positive for methamphetamine.
He makes contact with the driver, and a backup officer approaches on the other side, and he could see a glass pipe on the console of the vehicle. They removed him from the vehicle and conducted a vehicle search and found, I think, 2 more pipes and several marijuana cigarettes and 3 packages of what they tested turned out to be methamphetamine.
Gillum is the former Tallahassee mayor. He sought to become the first black governor in Florida history when he ran in 2018. He lost to now Governor Ron DeSantis by less than 34,000 votes, triggering an automatic recount. After his loss, he's faced a string of controversies, including in 2020 when he was named in a report detailing an alleged overdose incident inside a Miami Beach hotel room where bags of alleged crystal meth were found. New video tracing the steps of the suspected assassin of political activist Charlie Kirk.
The video shows the hours leading up to Kirk's murder. Today, the suspect, Tyler Robinson, is expected back in court to continue the probable cause hearing. Kano Whitworth is walking us through the latest evidence.
It's a compilation of videos.
Prosecutors in Utah unveiling a mountain of surveillance video in their case against Tyler Robinson, tracing his steps on the day he allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk. After arriving at Utah Valley University, a lead investigator testifying that Robinson interacted with members of Kirk's group Turning Point USA at the amphitheater just hours before Kirk was gunned down. Police tracking his movements, pointing to this key video.
He also is walking with a gait or a limp in this video. Again, he seems to be having issues walking.
Prosecutors have said the rifle was hidden in Robinson's pants.
Individual then stands up.
Today, they showed video of a figure on the roof they also say was Robinson in what they called a prone position. Moments later, the person is jumping down to the ground and running toward the woods. And police today revealed 12 hours after the shooting, as they were hunting for Kirk's killer, an officer actually stopped Robinson's car near campus and was suspicious.
I guess cop intuition, but there was something about the interaction that made him make a note of the license plate of the vehicle.
But it would be another 22 hours after that encounter until Robinson turned himself into police and was charged with Kirk's murder.
The defense is trying to cast doubt that it's Robinson in that video at all. Later this week, the prosecution will play a recorded video of his former romantic partner, the one authorities say he confessed to. Kano Whitworth, ABC News, Provo.
The housing market on the Gulf Coast is slowing down. New numbers show there are fewer places for sale across our region. The report says the total houses and condos up for sale is down 19% compared to last year. The data was taken from May of both years by FGCU's School of Business. Despite the supply being down, the report says sales were actually up 4%. Some realtors say it's a sign our market is stabilizing.
We're not going to jump up like we did in 2022, but we are improving. The prices are leveling out. Fewer homes on the market. Homes are selling faster. They're not flying off the market, but are selling faster.
Prices are also down from their peak in 2022. Realtors say they expect more buyers to come to Florida if lawmakers remove the property tax.
Well, we're taking the tour this morning with